Just acknowledging the crowd. There's Mohammed Hanfel Zengin of Turkey. Best of 79.56. First of two very good Latvians. Gatis Kaks, World Junior Champion back in 2024. Best of the Greek competitors, Demetrios Sidzos, fourth in the European Under-20s back in 2021. And then the 5 times Latvian champion, Rolands Brobendes. Brobendes, second here last year. Most of these men, they're just getting warmed up for the season ahead, which will include events such as the European Team Championships coming up next month in Madrid. And some of these competitors, like Latvia, will be in the second league in Maribor, as well as further down the line, of course, the World Championships in Tokyo in September, which is what everybody's aiming for. Well, in case you're wondering where the Papaflessia title comes from, well, it takes its name from one of the heroes of the Greek Revolutionary War in 1821, and the very first meeting in Kalamata was organised back in 1954. It was pretty much a domestic meeting until the mid-90s, but then it's taken on very much an international flavour ever since then, and so over the last 30 years has become very much a fixture on the European and international calendar. Some great performances here over the years. Perhaps most significantly, the one that really stands out is the meeting record of 8.66 in the men's long jump by Louis Satsoumas. There we have details, and we are in the Kalamata Municipal Stadium.
Σπουδαία διοργάνωση από τις πολλές που θα δείτε φέτος στην ΕΡΤ και στην ΕΡΤ3. Τα Papaflessia, ένα διεθνές meeting με μεγάλη ιστορία, με πολύ μεγάλο παρελθόν. Είναι η 46η φορά που διεξάγεται το συγκεκριμένο meeting, κάθε φορά με μεγάλες επιτυχίες, με διαφορετικούς αθλητές, με ονόματα μεγάλα από το εξωτερικό. Εδώ βλέπουμε το πρόγραμμα από τις 5 και μετά, αφού την ίδια ώρα παρακολουθούμε και την παρουσίαση των αθλητών στο μήκος. Είδαμε κατά σειρά το πρώτο αγώνισμα που θα είναι τα 100 εμπόδια των γυναικών και ήδη οι αθλήτες
έχουν πάρει θέση. Long jumpers, which will also get underway in just a few minutes' time.
Τους αθλητές στο μήκος, με τον Νικόλα, τον Στάμα, τον Νικολό, να είναι το μεγάλο όνομα από πλευράς της ελληνικής παρουσίας.
One of the ones that's just been presented to the crowd, Jose Luis Mandros, the very good Peruvian national record holder.
Νίκητα Μάσου από την Ουκρανία, ο Χρήστος Χίτας.
And then bringing up the rear, just bouncing out. Chanel Kurtze, the Namibian record holder at 8.27. That was set 2 years ago in Tilburg. There's the start list. Strong field, 9-man field.
Από το Περού. Και είπαμε και στην αρχή ότι ο Νίκος Σταματονικολός είναι θεωρητικά το φαβορί, ο δεύτερος αθλητής μετά τον πολύ μεγάλο, τον καλύτερο στον κόσμο.
European Under-23 champion back in 2017.
Πάμε να δούμε όμως τις αθλήτρες που θα λάβουν μέρος στα 100 εμπόδια των γυναικών.
So here we quickly go over to the women's 100 meters hurdles. So Maria Bukovic, second in the Balkan Indoor Championships recently.
Το κορυφαίο όνομα στη χώρα.
Elizabeth
Στο συγκεκριμένο αγώνισμα. Βερόνικα Μπεζάνα.
This is Veronica Bazzana, Italian. Made the final of the European Under-23s 2 years ago. Sofia Izodio.
Στον πέμπτο διάδρομο, Σοφία Καμπερίδου. Πρόσφατο ατομικό ρεκόρ 13.56.
Camperio.
Και στον έκτο διάδρομο, lane number 6, από την Ουκρανία, from Ukraine, Irina Budzinska.
12.99 recently. And on the outside, Irina Budzinska of Ukraine.
Start of the race.
Running very close to her personal best earlier this month in Kyiv. Personal best of 13.20, and she's already opened with 13.25. So perhaps the two women to look out for, Bessano in lane 3 and Josvideo in lane 4. Meeting record of 12.74. And it is Bessano who gets out very well. Crisp hurdling from the Italian in lane 3. And she's really starting to pull away. Josvideo clattered into the hurdle there, and it's the Ukrainian up on the outside. Budzinska comes through for second place. Well, difficult to see the time, but I think it's around 13:34, if that's correct. So a good run from Bessana, 22 years of age. And she'll be targeting the European Under-23 Championships coming up later this year. They're in Bergen next month. I should say in July. Bergen in Norway. So here we can see Bessana away very quickly. No problems for the Italian. Really from about the second hurdle in, she laid down the gauntlet, and it was very difficult for any of the other women to get back on equal terms with her. Good second place on the outside for Budzinska. Not quite sure of the wind reading. It's looking as though there might be some wind in their face. We'll try and confirm the wind reading shortly. Second round of this event. Already seen Strobinders throw 75.89 in the first round. That leads the way at this stage. So this is Konidis, Greek thrower. Not one of the stronger throwers. That comes down at around 55 meters. Indeed, that was Strobinders throwing just a moment ago, dressed all in black.
Αποτελέσματα από τη δεύτερη διοίκηση 100 μέτρα με εμπόδια των γυναικών. Official results, 100 meters first women.
Unfortunately, on the results, which you can access through the European Athletics website, no wind mark for the hurdles, but it is given as Bessana an adjusted time to 13:33. Budzinska 13:49. It is looking as though around the stadium, this Kalamata Municipal Stadium, where Kalamata FC play. They had a good season. They almost got promoted to the Greek Super League for the first time since 2001. Must have a little bit of a problem with the results setup, unfortunately. We're not seeing the results from the javelin.
Στον αγωνισμό έχει περάσει μπροστά πρώτος ο Λετωνός Roland Strobinders, javelin throw men. Strobinders from Latvia, 75-89, 75 meters, 89 centimeters. Δεύτερος Τσάξ, Λετωνία 71-44, τρίτος ο Δημήτρη Τσίτσος 69-18. Αρχίζει η δεύτερη προσπάθεια στον αγωνισμό των ανδρών.
Benalopoulos. 750 man at best. That dates back to 2021. Looking at a replay of his jump. Sofia Iosfidou having a chat with the infield announcer, although she won't be pleased with that run, I don't think.
Στο Αλμές Νίκος, πρώτη προσπάθεια, Χωσέ Λουί Μάντρος, Περού. Μέχρι στιγμής Ανδρέας Αντωνακόπουλος 7-11, Αλέξα Αργυρόπουλος 6-56.
Eventually struggling home. Iosfidou in 1397. However, very much the Greek number one having taken over from Pesteridou.
69-29, Zengin from Turkey. $7.42, ο αθλητής από το Περού, 7 meters, feet 42 centimeters for Andros, Peru. First attempt long jump men.
So we just saw Cax throw 75.18, so a big improvement for him after his first round of 71.44. Following on from Cax, it's Zatsos, 69.18 in the first round. Just manages to hold on, control his technique. That's over 70 meters. Has a best of 78.22, which he set back in 2021 when he finished fourth at the European Under-23s. Also got a bronze 2 years prior to that in Boras at the European Under-20s. So had a fine start to his career, sort of slightly petered out. I think he's had some injury problems in the last couple of years. Really looking to get back into the mid to high 70s again. 71.36 for Ziatsos. Now, Strobenders, now 33 years of age, comfortably over 70 meters, but I don't think that's going to be an improvement on his first round effort. 75.89, which currently holds the lead. Strobenders, long career, was fourth in the European Under-20s back in 2011, almost 14 years ago. Was fourth again 2 years later at the European Under-23s.
Στον αγωνισμό με τη στιγμή, Στροπίντες 75-89, Τσάκς 75-18.
So this is Nicholas Stamantonolilokos. 786 man at best. Already gone out to 764 this year, so starting the season well. It's a bit difficult to tell the difference with these head-on shots, but bang on the board there.
7-66 για τον Νίκο Σταματονικολό. Του περνάει επικεφαλής στο Νίκος. Βλάτισλαβ Μαζούρου, Ουκρανία, Ukraine. Πρώτη προσπάθεια.
Big shout from Konidis. It's around 65 meters. That's Mazur, the Ukrainian. Having a little bit of trouble getting the graphics up on the TV screen just to give you indications of the distances, but live results are available on the European Athletics website, www.european-athletics.com. The former under-23 champion from 8 years ago. Long way spare on the board.
Namibia, πρώτη προσπάθεια στο μήκος, first attempt. Η προσπάθεια του Ουρανού αθλητή ήταν στα 7:42.
Can tell you that first attempt for Mazur was 7:42. He had plenty of space on the board. And completing the last round, the Namibian record holder, Chenelt Kurtze, 8:27 back in 2023 for Kurtze. So, 75-18 in second place behind his compatriot Robinders. This is Gatis Kax. Well, that may well have taken the lead. That looks as though it's a bit better than 75.5 meters. Good technique from Kax. World under-20 champion back in 2014. Through 87.57 in 2021. That's his personal best. He does take the lead indeed at 76.14. So Siadzos in the third round now, getting through the throwers very quickly. 71.36. He's lying down in fourth place at the moment.
Ο Νίκος ήταν έγκυρη προσπάθεια του Αλέξη Αργυρόπουλου, δεύτερη προσπάθεια στο Νίκος.
There you go, an improvement, 73.97. Now, just seen his lead taken away from him. Kax going over 76 meters, 76.14. What can Brobinders do? The best is an 85.07 throw, but that dates back to 2017. Both Brobinders and Kax have been overtaken as the Latvian number one by Patrick Gallums. Gallums won the national title last year with Brobinders second, even though he's taken 5 national titles in the past. I don't think that's an improvement for Brobinders. He was second last year in Kalamata. And, certainly enjoy a win. It's a little bit shy, isn't it? 75.76. Obviously good camaraderie there between the two Latvians. Enjoying their outing in Greece. So this is Jose Luis Mandros. Lying in second place at the moment with 7.42. Second attempt. Competition's not quite sparking into life just yet. There's no Miltiadis Tentoglu. Tentoglu opened his outdoor season in Limassol on Wednesday with a rather sparkling 8:27. That really certainly raised a few eyebrows. Gave notice that he's back to full fitness. So now we're on to the men's 100 metres. Well, we've got two heats of this event. So just saw Nicholas Platsis. Here's Alexia Kijanovic, 24 times the national champion. Abdoulaye Dram, 10:23, which he ran in Chaux de Fonds in Switzerland last year. The Estonian national champion, and surprise fourth in the World and Indoor Championships over 60 metres in 2022. And Christoph Theodoropoulos. Well, nobody's really been flying so far this year in the men's 100 metres.
Δίνεται εκείνη στην πρώτη τελική σειρά στα 100 μέτρα των ανδρών. 100 meters men. Start of the race A.
It's probably evenly matched between the three visitors to Kalamata. Kijanovic in lane 3, Drama in 4, and Nazarov in lane 5. It looks like Nazarov in lane 5, the Estonian out the quickest. Also running well is Vavil in lane 2, but it's Nazarov. Dram coming through strongly for second, but the Estonian takes it. Unofficially 10:49. So a little bit away from that long-standing championship record of Dwayne Chambers.
Οι επίσημοι χρόνοι βγαίνουν από την εξέταση του φωτοφίνης. Η διαφορά είναι ότι το φωτοκύτταρο μπορεί να σταματήσει από το χέρι, το πόδι, το κεφάλι ενός αθλητή, ενώ στους επίσημους χρόνους
Good run there from Nazarov. Got out quickly, which he's very, very well known for.
100 μέτρα ανδρών πρώτη τελική σειρά.
Good pick-up. Drum at this stage rather left in his blocks, but comes through strongly. The Frenchman to the Estonian's left, but no doubt at all about it. Nazarov takes the win. We'll see many of these men in the 200 metres a little bit later on. The men's 200 metres scheduled for just over an hour's time. Back to the long jump. This is Nicholas Stamatone Kolos. I think that was a foul, yes, and certainly it was uncontrolled.
100 meters men, official results, race A. Στην πρώτη θέση, first place.
So foul on his second attempt.
Estonia,
leads the way though at the moment with 7:67. Andros 7:42. So rather modest competition so far. Got three men in this competition, Mandros, Mazur and Kurtze, who have jumped over 8 metres in their lives. So expecting a little bit better. And indeed, Mazur, Kurtze jumped to 780 or better already this year. So confirmation, 10:41. Comfortable win for Karl Erik Nazarov of Estonia, the Estonian national record holder. Abdoulaye Drama, 10:67, taking second place. The second heat of the 100 metres to come very shortly, and perhaps the stronger of the two heats. Looking forward to seeing Ronald Longa, 20-year-old Colombian, who's just improved his Colombian record to 9:96 earlier this week. It will be Longa in lane 4.
Vladislav Mazur από την Ουκρανία πέρασε δεύτερη θέση με 7.62. 7 meters 6 centimeters for Mazur.
Good crowd in the homestand here at the Kalamata Municipal Stadium. This meeting, of course, a fine heritage that dates back to the 1950s.
Δρόμος 100 μέτρων ανδρών. Παρουσίαση των αθλητών.
So on the inside, Gaiman Gangagolo of Gabon, French-based, competes for the Asselbron Club, which is a teammate of the man who finished second in the first 100, Abdoulaye Drama. Gabon record holder over 200 and 400 meters. Vasilios Manthropoulos, fourth in the Balkan Championships last year. He's had a good outing already, 10:43 in Dubai earlier this month. Nicholas Walsh, the sailor and Manchester Harrier, 10:06 man at best. And then Ronald Longa, Skotinas Garakinis, and then on the outside, Nicholas Hanagopoulos. Gagan Karakanis, 5 times national champion in various distances in the sprints. The best of the Greek competitors, certainly over his career.
100 meters men, start of race B.
So how does Longa finish? Follow up his fantastic 9:96 clocking in Italy just 4 days ago. Longa in lane 4, the Colombian, the man to keep your eye on. 2-time South American Championship silver medalist. Well, Longa was struggling to get out of his blocks. Walsh did well, but now Longa really starting to go through the gears. Wonderful, comfortable victory, and he had the opportunity of easing up later. I was a bit surprised he eased up because there's no second race for these guys. That's it.
Minus 2.3.
10:37. So a good 10th quicker than Karl-Erik Nazarov, who won the first heat. Doesn't look terribly happy with it, though. I think he knows that it was a poor start. It took him a good 30 meters before he started to pull away from the rest of the field. Walsh at this stage running extremely well for second. We'll see some of these men again in the 200 meters a little bit later on.
Επόμενο δρομικό αγώνισμα.
So next on the track very shortly will be the women's 100 meters. Going on in the field, there's still the long jump and the men's javelin. A bit later on we'll have 2 women's field events, the women's triple jump and javelin. So this is Alexios Agriropoulos, 782 man back in 2019.
Αποτελέσματα στην δεύτερη τελική σειρά 100 μέτρα ανδρών. Με άνεμο, όπως είπαμε, μείον 2,3. Official results 100 meters men, race B.
So this is the start of the third round.
Στην πρώτη θέση first place,
Lot to
Longa,
spare.
Colombia, 10:36.
Lying all the way down at the moment.
Στην δεύτερη θέση Walsh.
6:79. I can tell you that jump was given at 6:58.
10:48. Στον τρίτο διάδρομο, Σωτήρης Καραγκάνης 10:53. Στον τέταρτο διάδρομο,
You can see his full collection of jumps so far. His best effort coming in the second round.
Στην τέταρτη θέση, στην τρίτη θέση Καραγκάνης 10:53. Στην τέταρτη θέση Λιβιανθόπουλος 10:54. Στην πέμπτη θέση fifth place, Gambia 10:60. 10:60. Και στην έκτη θέση Παναγιώτοπουλος.
So now it's the turn of Andreas Antonakopoulos. 7:11 in the first round for Antonakopoulos.
7:30.
Jump 7:32 indoors, so for some improvement. Once again, a long way round behind the board.
Δεν ήταν καλό και αυτό ήταν καλύτερο από το προηγούμενο.
Good improvement for Antonakopoulos, out to 7:30. Moves him up into 4th place. There's the complete results. Ronald Longer, as you saw, comfortable winner. Time adjusted to 10:36. Seeing a little bit of time adjustments once the timings double checked. Nicholas Walsh in 2nd place, the Briton.
Negative wind 0.7.
So, collection of the Greek sprinters on the infield. So, Kakargiankis giving his thoughts on things. These men know each other very well, and quite often combine as part of the Greek international relay team over 4x100 meters.
Ukraine, τρίτη προσπάθεια, third attempt, long jump men. Μέχρι στιγμής πέμπτος με 7.24.
I have to be honest and say I can't really interpret what they're saying. My Greek's a little bit limited. My apologies to our host broadcaster. So this is Nikita Masliuk.
Μείον 1,2 άνεμος, προσπάθεια του Ουκρανού αθλητή.
Masliuk at 7:24 in the second round, following on from a foul. Ukrainian.
Επαναλαμβάνουμε, μπορεί να βλέπετε συμμετοχές και αποτελέσματα live στην εφαρμογή Roster Athletics. Εφαρμογή Roster Athletics για συμμετοχές και αποτελέσματα.
So slight improvement to 7:41 for the Ukrainian in the long jump as we switch back to the javelin. Here's Gatis Kax. Now in the 5th round. Just in the 3rd round at 76:14. He's just been overtaken on the previous throw by Strobinders. 76:19. So it's a Latvian 1-2 at the moment at this Papaflessia meeting. How can Gax respond to that? I think that might actually challenge the lead. Good plant, good technique from Gax. Perhaps not the strongest of throws, but and he does retake the lead, 76-64 for the former world under-20 champion. Take that, I think he says, but in a very amiable sort of way. Both men have one throw remaining. So going into the final round. It's Gax, the man in shot, leading the way with 76.64. And he's just going over to chat to the man in second place, dressed all in black. Roland Strobinders, 76.19. Just in case you're wondering, the javelin meeting record has stood on the books for 25 years to the great former world champion Kostas Gatsiudis of Greece, 88.76. So these men about 12 metres down on it at the moment. Let's hope that they can reduce the gap in the final round. Now, Georgios Christokakis. (65.24) in the third round, his best effort at the moment. Well, judging from the 70-metre line, oh, he's stepped over though. Red flag, so a foul. No improvement for Christokakis. So he currently stays in 5th place at the moment. Mehmet Zengin of Turkey. 79.56, his best recently. Doesn't quite find that sort of form here. 72.29 in the 4th round, but that's another throw over 70 metres. Not the quickest on the run-up. Adopts what we now know as the Pit Kamati technique of throwing yourself face first, or in his case, managing a little shoulder roll. 72.36. It's not a personal best, I'm afraid. He's recently thrown over 79 metres, but a good effort indeed from Zengin. Keeps him in 4th place though, in the top 3. Here's the best of the Greek competitors. Dimitris Zitsos. Medalist 6 years ago at the European Under-20 Championships, took 3rd place in Boras. And in July, no, it's August. We've got the Under-23s in July, where he just finished outside of the medals in 2021. But in August, we have the European Under-20 Championships coming to you from that javelin throwing mecca. Oh, what an excellent effort there from Zitsos. That is a really good effort. That's pretty close to his personal best, in fact, which has stood since 2021. Now, that may be good enough to take the lead. Looks over 76 metres to me. Just waiting for the result, but I think it's a good one. 76.49. So one of his best ever throws, Dimitris Zitsos, and he moves him up into 2nd ahead of Gatis Kax. The very last to throw. Strobinders, no improvements. He's 75.94. Strobinders, who he went in front of. Now, has got this competition won. Can he get over 77 metres? No, I don't think that's going to get him any further, any closer to that 80-metre line. Isn't that far away though? I'm just seeing on my screen 76.56. So, confirms his win. That fifth round, 76.64, being good enough to take victory here in Kalamata. And indeed does have 2 throws better than anybody else can manage. As we now switch our attention back to the track and the women's 100 metres.
76-19. Πλήρη αποτελέσματα στην εφαρμογή Roster Athletics. Δρόμος 100 μέτρων γυναικών. Παρουσίαση των αθλητριών που θα παίξουν στην πρώτη τελική σειρά.
Kristalaka in lane 1. It's a 6-lane track, so just 6 competitors in the sprints.
Πρόσφατο ατομικό ρεκόρ 12-10.
Kalopi Paviaki, 12.36 sprinter at best. Now the 21-year-old Briton, Jennifer Aduwu, it's a best of 11.59, which she set last year in Manchester. Good outing already this year, 11.65. Postalia Antonatu, 11.98. She improved her personal best recently. This is Marina Andrea Baboy, now 25 years of age. Baboy, very familiar figure from European Age Group Championships. And on the outside, Despina Rumalotti. Hasn't broken 11 seconds, so perhaps this is the occasion for her to do so. Well, hasn't broken 12 seconds, I should say. Some latecomers, but hopefully they'll enjoy the rest of the program. Still got almost an hour and a half to go. Plenty of action still remaining. So that meeting record of 10.91 stood for a very long time. Held by Katerina Thanu from 1999. And it's the Romanian Baboy who was away very quickly, but now Aduwu coming through strongly. It is the Briton who takes it. Well, it's around 11.83. Very difficult to see the timing equipment, but 11.83 unofficially for Jennifer Aduwu. So Aduwu, very strong, very quick athlete, but just takes a little bit of time getting into her running. Baboy was the quickest away, but Aduwu from the halfway point into that 100 metres, starting to pull away from both Baboy and on the inside of the Romanian Antoniatu. Very close to the personal best for the Greek in third. So we're back with the long jump. And this is Agriopoulos, down in 8th place at the moment, the Greek. .679 is best in the second round. That was a pretty modest 5.43. 2 more attempts though for This is Antonakopoulos. 7:30 in the last round. We saw him leap out too, and that's puts him in 4th place at the moment.
Δεύτερη θέση, second place, Παπόη, Ρουμανία, 11.95. Στην τρίτη θέση, Αποστολή Αντωνάτου, 12.04. Στην τέταρτη θέση,
Foul. Yes, big foul.
Πέμπτη, Καλλιόπη, Παυλακάκη, 12.54.
Much more obvious on the replay. So there's confirmation of the javelin results, and it is Kaks of Latvia taking the win with 76.64, 15 centimeters in front of Dimitris Zitsos of Greece. Zitsos coming through with that effort in the final round to move him up into 2nd place ahead of Latvia's Roland Strobinders, who had 76.19 for 3rd. That's the 1, 2, 3, Latvia, Greece, Latvia.
100 μέτρα γυναικών, δρόμος 100 μέτρων γυναικών, παρουσίαση των αθλητριών που θα λάβουν στην δεύτερη τελική σειρά. 100 meters women, presentation of the participating athletes at race B.
So the second heat of the women's 100 meters. We've seen her already. Sofia Iosifdou. Here's the very good Ecuadorian, Gabriela Suarez. Suarez, 11.16 runner at best. Turn an inch. Just 20 years of age, the Greek. She's already got 11 national titles to her name. Maria Valeria Bisasu, the Romanian, and on the outside, Sofia Camperidou. Greek runner with a best of 11.74 and has already run 11.85 this year. But the overwhelming favourite has to be Gabriel Anahi Suarez of Ecuador.
100 meters women, start of race B.
3-time South American Championships medalist at the 100 meters. And it is the Colombian who's away very, very quickly. Tall Colombian, long-striding South American, romping away to victory in this 100 meters. On the outside, Camperidou came through strongly in the second half of the race to close her down, but the track just ran out for Camperidou. So 11.63 for Suarez, but it might well be a personal best time or very close to it for Camperidou. She's an accomplished sprinter, is Suarez, leaving everybody trailing in a wake at this stage. But then Camperidou, out on lane 6, starts going through the gears, closes her down to about a metre over the final stage of the race. But a good win there for Ecuador's Gabriela Suarez. So we're back in the long jump. This is Vladislav Mazur, lying in 3rd at the moment with 7.62 in the previous round. That was the second round. This is his 3rd round effort. About 10 centimetres to spare on the board. 7.58. So no improvement for Mazur. This is Nicholas Stamatonicolos. He's very quick down the runway, the Greek. Going in second place at the moment with 7:67. About 19 centimetres to spare on the board. 7:70. Keeps him in second place, but it's an improvement. With the results of the second heat of the women's 100 metres as we chat to Dimitris Ziatsos, the second place finisher in the javelin. As you can see there, improved in the last round to 76.49.
Επόμενο δρομικό αγώνισμα, μια τελική σειρά 400 μέτρα ανδρών στις 6 παρά 5.
And just reflecting on that 100 metres, well, Gabriela Suarez won in 11:62, but indeed it was a personal best for Kemperidou on the outside lane, coming through strongly, just a shave 1/100th of a second off her personal best. Good run from Kemperidou. Wondering whether we'll see her at the European Under-23 Championships coming up in July in Bergen. Certainly Kemperidou, one of the rising stars perhaps of Greek athletics, Greek women's athletics.
Τέταρτη θέση, Στέλλα Αλεξάνδρα Μιχαηλίδου, 11.97. Fifth place, πέμπτη θέση, Τύρνανιτ, Σερβία, Σέρβια, 12.02, 12.02. Και έκτη θέση, Σοφία Ιωσιφίδου, 12.04.
So this is Konstantinos Kamaras. Struggling with his technique a little bit, 5.91 for Kamaras. Maybe a little bit better. No. 5.68. As though he's limping very slightly. Just wondering whether there's a slight problem with his left leg. Next race is on the track, coming up very shortly, in about 5 minutes' time, the men's 400 metres. This is Ariapoulos. Regular jumper over 7 metres and a best of 7.82 back in 2019. So he's not having the best of days. 6.79. It's not quite there for Ariapoulos. So Christoph Chitas. This was 6th in the Greek National Championships last year. 21 years of age. Jumped 7.44 in Athens last week, but again, struggling like a few of these long jumpers to find their best form. Just wondering whether the wind out there is giving them problems, as we see that 5th round effort was a foul. And Chistos down in 7th place at the moment with 7:13. Anton Akapoulos.
Παραλαμβάνουμε ο Δήμαρχος Καλαμάτας κύριος Βασιλόπουλος θα βραβεύσει το Ίδρυμα Καπετάν Βασίλη και Κάρμεν Κωνσταντινοπούλου.
Another 21-year-old jumper, perhaps with ambitions, as mentioned already, with the European Under-23 Championships coming up in July. Perhaps making the GRE team for it. Well, that was a stuttering finale to his run-up, chopping his stride. He lost distance and impetus there without a doubt. Go to the European Under-20 Championships back in 2019. Only being 16 years of age back then. 7:51. I have to say, I make that a personal best for Chitos. So, men's 400 meters coming up, the next event on the track. You can see the lineup. Man to look out for is in lane 4, Alexander Papaflessia. It's his first outdoor race of the year. Last year ran under 45 seconds. As we just look at Kurtse. Kurtse, 7:33 to his name at the moment. I think he's just been overtaken by Chitas. Spot on the board there.
Δρόμος 400 μέτρων ανδρών. Το αγώνιμα θα γίνει σε μία τελική σειρά. 400 meters men.
Did see 7:51 flash up for Chitas, but it's been classified as a foul.
Στον έκτο διάδρομο.
7:48 for the Namibian. So he's a bit further down we were expecting. He's down in 5th place at the moment as we turn our attention to the 400 meters.
Στον τέταρτο διάδρομο από την Ουκρανία, lane 4 from Ukraine, ο Alexander Pohorilko. Στον τρίτο διάδρομο, lane 3 από τη Ρουμανία, from Romania, Robert Parger.
Also a man to look out for on the inside of the Ukrainian Papaflessia is Robert Paj, the Romanian, former Iranian record holder. Held that for about 2 years after running 45:59, which remains his personal best in 2021. Like Papaflessia, it's his first outdoor 400 meters of the year. Papaflessia in lane 4, dressed in black, set a Ukraine record indoors this winter at 46:32. And it is the Ukrainian away very quickly. Paj at this stage not into his running. Papaflessia up on the shoulder of the Turk on his outside. Chanapchi now starting to struggle a little bit. Papaflessia having an outstanding run here, hitting the bend very strongly, starting to pull away from all his rivals. Nobody's showing to challenge him at the moment. That championship record of 45:56 could be under threat. Papaflessia coming through strongly. Championship record has stood since 1998. Now, that looks as though unofficially he's actually equalled the championship record, the meet record, that stood to Troy McIntosh of Bahamas since 1998. Now, will it be adjusted? That's a really good run. No, it equals the meeting record. So after 27 years, Troy McIntosh's meeting record has been equalled. Big shout out to Olusanta Pohuliko. Some reflections from Kemperidu, who was running in the first of the women's 100 metres. Ran a personal best of 11.73. We also saw her in the hurdles a little bit earlier. So looking very pleased with her afternoon's work in Kalamata. So this is the last round. Konstantinos Kamaras hasn't got over 6 metres yet. It's been a disappointing day for Kamaras. I think that's going into the books as a foul. I think I saw a red flag raised. Yes, there it is. So finishes 9th. Modest 5.91.
Στην τρίτη θέση Βλαδίμηρος Ανδρεάδης 47-49 ατομικό ρεκόρ. Στην τέταρτη θέση Πέτρος Κεχιόπουλος 47-98. Πέμπτη θέση Κυριάκο Τσικιλής 48-57. Έκτη θέση 6th place Πάρκη Ρουμανία.
It's the men's 400 metre finals. In fact, that time has been revised to 54. 45.54, so that is indeed a meeting record for Alexander Pohorilko. Kanashki, Turkey, 46.56 for the Turk, just outside his personal best from last year of 46.47. A good start to the year for Pohorilko. In quite difficult conditions. There is a swirling wind out there. He has, of course, run under 45 seconds last year. I think there's plenty more to come from the Ukrainian. Wasn't seriously challenged in that race. So here's Christoph Chitas. I think that's another foul for Chitas. Yes, given very quickly. That was a pretty obvious one. So finishes with a best of 7.13. Yes, the judges didn't need to take too long looking at the plasticine there. We're using the old school plasticine rather than the electronic eye markers which you see in many championships. So this is Andreas Antonopoulos. .751 in the fourth round for Antonopoulos. Well behind the board it seems. I should say behind the plasticine. And 7.51 it does remain his best mark for the Greek.
Το άλμα τριπλών των γυναικών, γιατί πρέπει να ολοκληρωθεί πρώτα το άλμα εις μήκος των ανδρών και να κάνουν και δοκιμαστικές προσπάθειες.
Now, Cheno Kurtzi. Wondering what he could do here. He's already jumped 7.80 this year at home in Namibia. He's quick. Certainly, you can see the talent there, but technique has been slightly deserting him. So is that an improvement on his best of 7:48? I don't think so. It doesn't look that far. More than 10 centimetres to spare on the board. 7:33. So he stays down in 5th place with 7:48. Now Nikita Masluk, Ukrainian, 7:41. Pushed down to 5th place. Oh, again, long way behind the board. Not happy with that, but takes a little bow for the crowd, thanking them for his support. The long jump taking place under the main stand in the Kalamata Municipal Stadium. Well, halfway to Athens, taking off there. 7:41 remains his best. 6:73 in that last round, with probably about 50 centimetres to spare before the plasticine. So, Vladislav Mazur from one Ukrainian to another. 7:62 in the second round for Mazur. Former European under-23 champion. Jumped personal best indoors of 8:14. Oh, that's a good jump from Mazur. Now, first at the moment is Mandros at 7:86. Ah, it's a red flag though. What a pity. That was actually a good effort from Mazur. Might well have got him up into 2nd place. We'll pick up the remaining jumps in the long jump just very shortly. It's now time for the 800 metres. And this is very packed on this 800 metres on this 6-lane track. 11 men. Could be quite a bit of bumping and boring. Looking out for in the men's 800 metres. Oh, there we go. We've just wrapped up the final 2 jumps, and there was no change from Stamatonikoulos and Mandros. So indeed, the Peruvian takes the win with 7:86 from Stamatonikoulos with 7:70, and Vladislav Mazur 7:62. That's the 1, 2, 3 in the men's long jump.
Έκτη θέση 6th place Maslouk, Ουκρανία, Ukraine, 7:41, 7 meters 41 centimeters. 7ος Κίτας 7:13, 8ος Αργυρόπουλος 6:84, 9ος Καμάρας 5:90.
And to look out for, Abedin Musheznovic, the Bosnian. Finished 2nd here last year. 6 times Bosnian champion. There you can see 11 men squeezed into those 6 lanes. Meeting record 1:46.81, as you can see on your screen. It's been with the former world champion, the Kenyan Alfred Diego, since 2005. It's been on the books 20 years. Be a tall order to see it go here, but could see some quick running indeed. So this is Zandikis. He's a 1:47 man. He's decided to take it out. There's no pacemakers in this race. So it's approximately 52 seconds at the bell. It's good pace, it's quick pace. Maybe that meeting record can fall. Zandikis. This is his first race outdoors. I thought Zandikis was going to stay in the race, but it looks as though he's the anointed pacemaker. the... I think that's the Romanian Volcu who's coming through strongly as well. 10 times. Yes, Volcu on his inside. Vucinidovic trying to get up on equal terms with him. He's left the door open. And it is the Bosnian who just comes through. That's a good run from the Bosnian. 1:47.25 unofficially. Has a personal best of 1:45.32, but in these conditions with the swirling wind, a good run. Might well be a personal best for Volcu as well, just edged out. 1:45.58 the time's adjusted to. So no personal best for Volcu, but it might well be his second or third fastest time ever. So second last year, up for first this year. So it's Volcu at this stage. He's got 2 meters on the rest of the field. And it is the tall Romanian who's competed here on a number of occasions in the past. Vucinidovic, though, coming through strongly over the final 50 meters, coming through on the inside. That was poor tactics, though, from Volcu, drifting out into the second lane, leaving the door open for the Bosnian. I just wonder if the result had been different, if Volcu had just stayed on the inside lane. It would have meant Vucinidovic would have had to have gone round him, and that may have made the difference. Women javelin throwers warming up. Women's javelin just about to get underway. Just very slightly behind time, but not a significant delay. Next on the track will be the women's 800 meters, just very shortly, in about just over 10 minutes time. So we'll be able to focus our attention on the women's triple jump and javelin for a short while. I hope you're enjoying this live stream of the Papaflessia meeting. Can look back on its legacy back to the mid-1950s. And this, of course, is one of more than 20 European athletics live streams of World Athletics Continental Tour silver, bronze and challenger meetings. This is a challenger meeting, but coming up on Wednesday we have the famous Athens International Jump meeting, and that is a World Athletics Continental Tour bronze meeting. We'll be able to enjoy that via the European Athletics channels. And then, of course, coming up in June we have the European Team Championships coming to you from the 26th to the 29th of June, coming to you from Madrid, and also the second and third leagues from Maribor as well in Slovenia. There's the full lineup. Jesse Maduka, perhaps a class apart from the rest of the field, has already gone over 14 meters in 2025. 14-15 jumper at best. Big men in this field.
Ανώνυμος εταιρεία. Στούπας πληροφορική Σουίτερ φαρμακευτική, κατάστημα Ηλίας Πουλής. Ταξιδιωτικό γραφείο Κατσίρης, ταξιδιωτικό γραφείο Τσουκαλάς. First Aid, ιδιωτικά ασθενοφόρα Μεσσηνίας, κατάστημα Βεράρος, Design Group. Κατάστημα Παράδοση, ξενοδοχείο Δένθης, SM Μούργης. Χορηγή επικοινωνίας, τηλεοπτικό κανάλι Best TV, τηλεοπτικό κανάλι Μεσόγειος TV. Εφημερίδα Ελευθερία, εφημερίδα Θάρρος.
So while we're listening to interview on the infield, just to also remind you that coming up in July we have the European Under-23 Championships live streamed every single minute from Bergen in Norway, and then in August the European Under-20 Championships coming to you from Tampere in Finland between the 6th and the 9th of August, as well as I said, a whole myriad of one-day meetings coming to you via the European Athletics channels. There's the men's 800 metres results. Vucezinovic 147.56, Volku of Romania 147.63, and the best of the Greeks, a little way further back, Vasilios Koutslis 148.17. Volko running very close to his personal best there, and as I say, perhaps a little bit tactically naive, just shifting out to the second lane, opening the door for the Bosnian. So here's the presentation of the women's javelin throws. So we've just seen Dimitra Zanataki and Aphrodite Maniu. This is Ivana Duric from Serbia. Calliope Marimar and Theodora Arampatsi. Patsy, one of the better of the Greek throwers at 55.47. Eleonora Zoko of Greece and Yuria Theophanis Katsaru. Hasn't thrown over 50 metres, either Katsaru or this woman, Panagiotis Fetaria. But the opportunity presents itself today. So 8 women in the women's javelin. Of course, women's javelin has quite a history in Greece. Several world record holders in the women's javelin.
Ένα 47-63, 147-63. Στην τρίτη θέση με μεγάλο ατομικό ρεκόρ, Χριστόφορος Βασίλης Κουτλής 1.48-17. Στην τέταρτη θέση Καράλα Πολυναγός, ατομικό ρεκόρ 1.48-93. Στην πέμπτη θέση Μπαλαμπάνο, Βουλγαρία, 1.49-07, 149-07. Στην έκτη θέση Παντελέγγε, Βουλγαρία, 1.49-59, 149-59. Στην έβδομη θέση Υγείας Αργύρης 1.49-74, ο Ούδος Βασίλης Αρπάς με ατομικό ρεκόρ 18 ετών αθλητής 1.49-81, ένατος Ορφέας Ιωάννου 1.53-17.
Well, just a slight pause in proceedings just before we get underway with the women's triple jump and javelin, and very shortly the women's 800 metre runners are going to come out onto the track. Could be a very interesting race, the women's 800 metres. One I've been looking forward to in particular. We've got some very classy exponents over 2 laps of the track.
Χθες και σήμερα έγινε στο Κυρκής το Πανελλήνιο Πρωτάθλημα Συνθέτων Αγωνισμάτων για την κατηγορία K20, επίπα νεονίδων όπως λέγαμε παλιότερα.
Zanataki getting proceedings underway with 31.56.
Ήταν πρώτος και ο Νίκος Πετρίδης ήταν τρίτος στο Πανελλήνιο Πρωτάθλημα δεκάτλου ανδρών κάτω των 20 και σήμερα στο Κυρκής.
Currently the Greek number 2 behind Elena Zengo.
Επόμενο δρομικό αγώνισμα, 800 μέτρα γυναικών.
Personal best of 56.06, which came 2 years ago. That's over 45 meters. Just stays inside the sector. Drifted out rather badly out to the right-hand side, but just stayed in. So this is Ivana Duric, member of the, used to be called the Red Star Belgrade Club, now Ivana Zaverna. So she opens with 48.02.
800 meters women.
Duric finished second last year behind Zengo. So knows what throwing in Kalamata is all about. And the women's 800 meters is away. Got caught short there, I think. Director watching the javelin throws. Keep an eye out for the very good Serbian, also a member of the Red Star Belgrade Club, Tara Vukovic, just 17 years of age. Broke the Serbian indoor 800 meters record at under 20 level during the course of the winter. We've also got the three-time Greek champion in there, Georgia Maria Despolari. So it looks as though the pacemaker, Adriana Ferraz, at the front. They're looking at a watch here. Looking at something around 60 seconds, I think, for the first lap. Well, it's going to be just a fraction outside that. It's going to be about 62. So Ferrer starting to drift out, let the others through. Now it's Despolari leading the way at the front. Just 21 years of age, the reigning Greek champion. Got an under-23 bronze 2 years ago in Espoo. She's still eligible to compete in the European under-23s. Vukovic on her shoulder, the tall blonde Serbian. And Despolari, though, not relinquishing her lead, comes through unofficially in 2:03.30. So a good run from Despolari. It's her first outing over 2 laps of the track. She had a very useful 53.17 just a week ago. Very close to her 400 meters personal best, which showed she was in good shape. So this is Eleanor Zoka. Well, she's really a heptathlete, but personal best, which is a very useful personal best for a heptathlete, of 50.04. And here's the presentation of the women's triple jumpers. We're jumping in midway through the presentation. Looks like we've lost a few women from the start list. So we looked at Oksana Konova. This is the Romanian, Iona Emilia Colibersanu, and being called forward, finishing off the presentation, Soteria Rapti.
Με στιγμή στον αγωνισμό πρώτη, Γεωργία Θεοφανία Κατσαρού 49-88, δεύτερη Θεοδόρα Αραμπατζή 49.
So just like with the long jump, the women's triple jump will take place under the main stand. There's Eleonora Zoka. Exactly. And a quick interview with Giorgia Maria Despolari, the winner of the women's 800 metres. As I say, looking forward to seeing her run in Bergen in July, seeing whether she can upgrade her bronze from 2 years ago in Espoo to something a bit higher up the medal podium. Certainly a woman you'd be looking at to be in contention for the medals.
Επίσημα αποτελέσματα στα 800 μέτρα των γυναικών. Πρώτη Γεωργία Μαρία Δεσπολάρη 2.03.28. Δεύτερη Εμμανουέλα Πλάκα 2.03.55. Νέο ατομικό ρεκόρ.
Despolari will be looking to get under
Γιούλια Γιακούκτσικ.
2 minutes this year, perhaps challenge that long-standing Greek record which has been on the books since 2005 on 59.79 to Maria Papadopoulou.
Πέμπτη, fifth place, Tara Vučković, Serbia 2.06.95. 2.06.95.
Perhaps not helped by the pacemaker, I was expecting a pace of closer to 60 seconds rather 62.5. As we look at a replay there, all bunched behind her, and this is the point where the pacemaker steps to one side after 500 metres. Julia Jakasic in second at the moment. It's Vukovic coming through strongly in third. Didn't look as though it took too much out of her, to be fair. I think there's a lot more to come from Giorgia Maria Despolari. Julia Jakasic. No, it's not a personal best. She's run 2:02. So back with the javelin. Aphrodite Maniou. Given us a foul, I'm afraid, for Maniou. A rather modest opener of 46.21. Now, Ivana Duric. Rangy throw. That's not the strongest of throwers, but whoa, that's a great effort from Duric. That is a personal best for Duric. Well, she was second last year with a personal best of 55.65, and I think that's well over 55 metres. Oh yes, without a doubt. Personal best for her. She's just waiting for confirmation of the distance, and she's very happy, deservedly so. It all came together for Ivana Duric. 56.98. A personal best by more than a metre. think she's going to have a soft spot for Kalamata because she set a personal best here last year. Back on the track though with the first of two men's 200 metres. Just 4 men in each of these two races because it's very tight bends. So we have Koliadis of Greece, 2161 man on the inside, but the man to look out for is Nazarov, I think. So this brings together 2 men who've already faced each other in the 100 metres earlier. Nazarov and the Frenchman, Abdoulaye Drama.
Presentation of the participating athletes, race
There's
8.
Dominika Plaka, who was in 3rd place indeed in the end in the 800 metres, with a personal best, slicing, well, about 3 seconds off her personal best. A personal best of 2:06 before, and it took that down to 2:03 and change.
Στον τέταρτο διάδρομο lane 4 από την Εστονία, from Estonia, Karl Erik Nazarov. Και στον τρίτο διάδρομο, ο 19χρονος Μιχάλης Ραφαήλ Κολιδάς. Δίνεται κίνηση στην πρώτη τελική σειρά στα 200 μέτρα των ανδρών. 200 meters men, start of race A.
So they're already being called forward. It's Koliadis on the inside, Nazarov, Papagiannis and Drame. Oh, they're being called back. So this is Oksana Kononeva, 6 times national champion. Just missed out on qualifying for the final at the European Championships in Rome last summer, and somewhat unfortunate because subsequently one of the finalists, a Romanian, was disqualified for a doping offence. Should be quite bitter about that, having a chance of competing in a European final thwarted by a doping athlete. Opened with a 13.74 windy mark last weekend in Athens. It's a personal best of 13.94 going back to 2022. So the 4 men in the first heat of the 200 metres have been called back. Not quite sure who was at fault there. From the inside once again, Kolidas, Nazarov, Papagiannis, and on the outside, the tall, very strong, muscular Frenchman, Abdoulaye Drama. Drama, fastest man in the field at 20.78, which he did last year in Chaux de Fonds in Switzerland. Nazarov in lane 3, much more of a 60 metres, 100 metres man, but has gone sub 21. Meeting record 2046 has stood to Deji Aliyu of Nigeria since 2002. Well, it was Nazarov out quicker. He's starting to gain on the Frenchman, but as we saw in the 100 metres, the Frenchman can come through very quickly. It's Nazarov coming into the home straight in the lead. It's Nazarov now starting to pull away. Drama's not challenging at all. Coming through, it's Papagiannis. 21.38 unofficially for Nazarov. Papagiannis might well have got very close to his personal best there. A shocking start for the Greek, was left in his blocks. But the Greek in lane 5 came through so strongly down the final 80 metres. Well, there was no stopping Nazarov here as the Estonian powered away and made it 2 wins out of 2 races in Kalamata. That's a great fan of the 200 metres. He's 60 metres and 100 man. You can see there, that did take a little bit out of him. Karl-Erik Nazarov takes the rose and takes the victory. And he takes €400 as well, which is the first prize for every race as we move along quickly. 3 Greeks versus the very good Gabonese runner, Guy Magangagora.
Αποτελέσματα στα 200 μέτρα ανδρών στην πρώτη σειρά. 200 meters men race A results. Πρώτη θέση Ναζάροφ, Εστονία, 21-37, 21-37. Δεύτερη θέση Πέτρος Παπαγιάννης, 21-71. Τρίτη θέση Μιχάλης Ραφαήλ-Κολιτάς, 22-04. Τέταρτη θέση Fort Days, Γραμμέ, Γαλλία, France, 22-05. Άνεμος 0,5. Positive wind 0.5.
Second attempt. Just to mention that the preceding jumper, Anastasia Kokatulapoulou, 12.53 for her. Good board placement for Passio. Failed the first attempt, but bounded out to 12.26 there.
...200 μέτρα ανδρών παρουσίαση των αθλητών που θα λάβουν μέρος σε αυτή τη σειρά. 200 meters men, presentation of the participating athletes at race B. Στο νέο διάδρομο lane 6, Gui Maganga, Gambia.
So now the second of the 2 races in the 200 metres.
Στο τέταρτο διάδρομο Βασίλης Μιανδόπουλος.
Just to give you a rundown of the 4 men, Nikolaos Pangiotopoulos, Vasilios Merianthopoulos, Sartorius Gankara-Hikanes, and on the outside, Guy Magangagora, the Gabonese record holder, ran last year 2040, also the record holder over 400 metres. So the Gabonese runner, based in France, on the outside in lane 6, very much the favourite here. On his inside, Gakar Canis has also run under 21 seconds. So this is Oksana Kononeva, Greek champion. So around the 13-metre mark. Kononeva had 13.48 in the first round, so I don't think that's an improvement for her. So keep an eye on the outside. Guy Magangagora of Gabon, who's been challenged by Gakara Canis. And Gakara Canis now really starting to work very, very hard. And it's looking as though Gakara Canis has just edged in front. No, but fighting back. Magangagora gets it, gets the verdict. 20.76 for Magangagora. So good run from the Gabonese man. Is under pressure from Gakara Canis on his inside. entertaining race that. It was really nip and tuck down the home straight between the two men on the outside, and also Miranthopoulos in lane 4 starting to come through very strongly as well. But in the end, it's the Gabonese runner who takes the plaudits. Big Smiles had to work quite hard to hold off Karakhannis. I wonder if he knew how quickly that Miranthopoulos was closing on him. This is Softirapti. Second attempt, 12:40. Looking at my computer screen and the results. So confirmation of the first race. Karl-Erik Nazarov winning in 21:37 from Petros Papagiannis. Much quicker second race though. Banganga Gora 20:74, just coming home ahead of Sotirios Karakhannis at 20:86, and the fast finishing Vasilios Miranthopoulos 20:89. Personal best for the third place Greek. Well, Dimitra Zanetake enjoying her moment, and well, we're switching very quickly between the two women's field events before the women's 200 metres go to the marks. So this is Bokatulapoulou. That's a best of 13:34 from 2 years ago. 12:53 in the second round, and this is a third round effort, just waiting for the measurement to come up. Short of 13 metres, but back to the infield. They've already had one little interview. That's Miranthopoulos. He's got to be happy running the under 21 seconds for the first time in his life. 20:89, picking up third place in the A race, the faster of the two races. In the end, sadly, Bokatulapoulou was given as a foul with that third round effort. Looked quite a good one, close to 13 metres. Karakhannis, not that far from his personal best either. So here's the first of the women's 200-metre races. In amongst them is Jennifer Aduwu, who won her 100-meter outing earlier in this meeting. However, there's the very good Romanian Marina Andreea Boboi, who's much more comfortable over 200 meters than 100 meters. Romanian, two-time European under-23 finalist. So this is Oksana Kononeva, Greek champion. Kononeva leading the way at the moment with 13:48. We're not seeing any wind readings, which is a little bit disconcerting. Hopefully that'll get worked out further down the line. I think that was a foul. Let's just wait for confirmation. Over 13 meters, but was it a red flag? No, they are measuring it. Look very tight on the board, albeit at some distance with the naked eye. As the athletes now settle down. Likudi, Glau, Eduwu, Boboi, Senkala and Pitsakali. Those are the 6 women from the inside, and it's Eduwu in lane 3 who's running very well at the moment. It's Eduwu and Boboi battling away for victory in this 200 meters. Now Eduwu starting to pull away from the Romanian. It's Jennifer Eduwu. 23:97. Well, that will be a personal best if it's a legal wind. Still waiting for those wind readings. Well, it's been revised quite considerably to 23:80. That's a good run from the Briton. Just 21 years of age. England under-23 champion over 100 meters, showing some talent over 200 meters as well. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see Eduwu in the British team going to Bergen in July. Of course, British sprint talent, there's phenomenal depth. Jennifer Eduwu showing that she's getting up there and ready to compete with them. This is Soteria Rapti finishing off the third round. Rapti let out a 13:35, which was a bit personal best for her, once again, subject to a legal wind reading. So good performance from Rapti.
Όπως είπαμε στον έκτο διάδρομο, lane 6, Maria Valeria Diselisescu, Romania. Στον πέμπτο διάδρομο,
So the second the women's 200 meters. 5 women in this race. And the cosmopolitan race it is. Emma Tanio of Sweden, Gabriela Suarez, Ecuador, Kristin Radukanova of Bulgaria, the very good Greek Rafaela Spanudaki Chitsliga, 5th on the Greek all-time list with a personal best of 23:04. And just to complete that lineup, which you're going to see in a moment, of the women's 200 meters, Maria Valeria Biseriasescu of Romania, as we look now. The javelin is Theodora Karabatsi of Greece. In second place at the moment with 52:37. Haven't seen anything of Arabatsi so far in this competition. There we are, settled down. So just to give you the lineup again: Tanio, Sweden; Suarez, Ecuador; Radukanova, Bulgaria; Spanudaki Chitsriga of Greece; and Biseriasescu of Romania. And it's, at the moment, it's the Greek Spanudaki Chitsriga leading the way Ran a personal best of 23:04 recently in Dubai, and it's the Greek who's running away from her Ecuadorian rival. 23:54. Seemed like quite hard work for the Greek. There we see a replay of that race, and the Greek is away very quickly. Naki Chitsuriga. Good start. Suarez. In 2022 South American under-20 200-meter silver medalist Suarez, so she's got credentials over half a lap of the track as well as over 100 meters. Looks as though Spanadaki Chitsuriga might just have very slightly injured herself. Still with the triple jump though. So this is Kolibasanu of Romania. Three fouls so far. We're in the fourth round, and that makes it a fourth consecutive foul.
Official results, race B, με ανημοσύνη 10,3, tail wind 0.3. Στην πρώτη θέση η Ραφαηλία Σπανουδάκη Κατζηρίκα 23-52. Στην δεύτερη θέση η Σακοντέη Σουάρες, η σημερινός Εκουαδόρ 23-76, 23-76. Στην τρίτη θέση, third place, Μισερισέσκου, Ρουμανία-Ρουμάνια 23-93, 23-93. Στην τέταρτη θέση, Ραντουκάνεβα, Βουλγαρία-Βαλγάρια, fourth place, 24-12, 24-12. Στην πέμπτη θέση, fifth place, Τάινιο, Φιλανδία-Φιλάνδη, 24-12.
Confirmation of the results. Spanuda Daki Chitsuriga, 23.52, taking the win from Gabriela Suarez of Ecuador, 23.76. Well, we've still got the women's javelin and the women's triple jump going on in the field. This is Eleonora Zolka. 6:37. Oh, switching away very quickly there. Asiu. Back to Zoka. Keep you right up to date with all the action. It's not going to be an improvement for Zoka. Last round, 46.37. She's got one more effort to go. Over 50 meters for the heptathlete.
Στο τουρνό των γυναικών βρισκόμαστε στην τέταρτη προσπάθεια.
So this is Zoe Rapti, sister of Soteria Rapti. So the two Rapti sisters. Was that a foul? It's only just over 12 meters anyway. Very close to the plasticine, but 12.62 for Rapti. That moves her up into fourth place. Drops Vokatulapulu. This is Nonoitia Litara. a breath back. So good win for Raffaella Spanidaki Chitriga. See from the monitor there was a foul for Vitada. So coming to the end of the 5th round, 1 round to go. There's Oksana Kononeva.
Είδαμε την τέταρτη προσπάθεια της οδηγίας γράφης στο τριπλούν για την τύχη με 13-35. 13-53.
Now 32 years of age. Last summer's European Athletics Championships was one and only major international championship, but very much a regular Greek international in regional affairs. She's leading the way at the moment with 13.62 in the last round, but she was challenged. Unfortunately, we didn't see the jump, but just before her, Soteria Ratti jumped out to 13.53, which, as I say, if it's a legal win, we're still waiting for those wind readings. I'm just wondering whether wind gauges have been malfunctioning. But if it was, it would be a second personal best in this competition. Well, Kolibasanu. At best, Kolibasanu is a 13.46 jumper. I think that's another foul as well. She's struggling, yes, a red flag raised. And they're very quickly in to level the jumping pit. So the Romanian having a poor day. It always amazes me that you can actually, in the jumps, rattle off a whole series of no jumps. I would have thought that you'd just adjust your run up and at least get in a valid mark. So Valeri. Her only valid mark, 12.24 in the 3rd round. Another red flag for Valeri. Really? He's never jumped over 13 metres, but I'd like to have done a little bit better today, although it was only a marginal foul, just very slightly, probably about a centimetre into the plasticine.
Στον τρίτο διάδρομο, Μαρία Καζολέα, 14 ετών, με σημειακό δυνατικό σύλλογο. Στον τέταρτο διάδρομο, Κωνσταντίνα Ιακώβου, 15 ετών, με σημειακό δυνατικό σύλλογο.
So this is Despoina Passio. 12.97 in the last round. I think that's just a bit under 13 metres, so probably no improvement for Passio. No, given us a foul as well. is in third place at the moment. So, really looking at taking away a few euros. I think third place is 200 euros. Crack of the gun there is you're not missing anything, but finishing off the program on the track is some under 16 80-meter races, but we're sticking with the field event action as we wrap up the javelin and the triple jump. At least I hope so. So it's back to the javelin, and we're in the final round now, and this is Aphrodite Maniou. It's just over 45 metres. It's not the best day at the office for Maniou, who, as I say, is the Greek number 2. She's a regular thrower over 50 metres, and at the moment, she steps over as well. 46.37 her best, and she finishes down in 7th place. Well, she has improved very slightly, 46.56. So she moves up to 6th place. So this is Anastasia Bokotopoulou. She's in 4th place at the moment with 12.76. No, that's a foul. Well, 2 years ago she went out to 13.34, so Bokotopoulou a bit short of her best at the moment. Yuria Katsarau. This is her first glimpse of this thrower. Katsarau threw a personal best of 49.88 in the previous round. That's not going to be an improvement, but she can certainly feel very pleased with the way the competition's progressing so far. I think that's a red flag. She just walked over. This is Continental, we've seen a lot of her jumping. Currently the Greek number 1, Katsaris. Confirmation though, she did get a personal best. 50 meters beckons very soon for Yuria Theophana Katsarau. Oksana Kononeva, you'd have to say 14 meters beckons for her. Was that a red flag? This angle, it does sometimes look as though it's going to be measured. That sort of legal jumps, if they're close to the plasticine, are actually fouls, but they're not. They're being measured. No improvement for Kononeva, 13.58. Jumped 4 centimeters further in the 3rd round. Now Ivana Duric leading the javelin with a personal best. No improvement for Duric. She steps over, but she brings the javelin to an end, and she leaves here a very happy person with a personal best of 56.98. more than 4 centimetres better than the rest. Theodora Kalampatsi, Greece, taking second place with 52.37. Quite a number of personal bests as well in the rest of the field. So just the women's triple jump to be completed. Well, Kolibasanu finally gets an effort in. It's measured at 12.80, and that moves her up to 4th place.
Javelin throw women results. Στην πρώτη θέση Βάνα Τζούρι, Σερβία, Σέρβια, 56-98, 56 meters, 98 centimeters.
Vasiliki Valeri seen herself pushed down 1 place with Kolibasanu. How does she respond?
Πέμπτη Παναγιώτα Φικαρά, 49-86. Έξι Αφροδίτη Μανιού, 46-56. Έβδομη Ελεονόρα Τζόγκα, 46-37. Όγδοη Δημήτρα Τζανιτάκη του Μεσσηνιακού Γυμναστικού Συλλόγου, 38-11.
Very old school, still using the metal tape. No electronic measuring device. Valeri improves to 12.59, but it doesn't improve her position. Now, Despoina Passio. No. It's not going to be an improvement for Passio. She's still in 3rd place at the moment, with the 4th round 12.97. So if it's a legal win when they finally unravel the wind readings, that will be a personal best. She finishes with rather modest 11.98. It was measured. It was pretty clear it was not going to be an improvement, but she had a good effort in that 4th round with 12.97, a personal best for Passio. Kotopoulou. It's 21 years of age. For... Sure, we've got the right one there. Is that Rapti? I think it's for... It's... $12.77 indeed it was for Rapti. That was my mistake. And this time it's for Kotopoulou. It's 21 years of age. Will be a competitor at the European Under-23 Championships coming up. Like a number of the Greek competitors, but that was a foul. So only 2 valid jumps, the best coming in the 4th round, 12.79. But she is a 13-metre plus jumper at best. So we may well be seeing her again on European Athletics live streams. Soteria Rapti. Seen her sister. Jumped 12.77, her best mark. There's 2 jumpers left. Soteria Rapti, 13.53. She's had, as I say, everything's with the caveat of legal wind readings, but 2 personal bests in this competition. And that's another good mark, well over 13 metres again. She's having a really good competition.
Με ένα μέτρο γυναικών, άνοιγμα η συμπροστασία της οδηγίας Rapti.
1361.
Δεκατρία μέτρα και 61 εκατοστά.
That's another improvement for Rapti. 1361 for Rapti. It's 1 centimetre behind this woman who's clinched this title at the Papaflessia meeting, Oksana Kononeva. 1362 to a name so far. Kononeva. That came in the third round. Oh, that's a good effort as well. That's around 13.5 metres. Is it an improvement? Ah, but it gets a red flag. Nevertheless, Oksana Kononeva takes the victory at the Papaflessia 2025 meeting in the women's triple jump with a winning leap of 1362. And as the officials repair the plasticine and the spectators start to leave the Kalamata Municipal Stadium, it's time for me, Phil Minshall, as we look at the final results in the women's triple jump, to say we hope you've enjoyed the last 2 hours of this World Athletics Continental Tour Challenger meeting coming to you from Kalamata. Next European Athletics live stream coming up on Wednesday is from Athens, and we'd like to see you again. So good afternoon from European Athletics live stream.